Well, first, welcome. A great pleasure to have you. Cos is located in the very northern part of the Médoc. We are right at the border between Pauillac and Saint-Estèphe, the two villages. Our immediate neighbour is Château Rothschild, and next door is Mouton Rothschild. So Cos is a very large property which has a very strong Oriental inspiration, the wines being sold to India in the 1800s. It has a facade orned with Oriental, Chinese, Indian, Thai pagodas, so it's a very unique place in the wine world. We've just finished the 2011 harvest a week ago. It was the earliest harvest at Estournel since 1893. We have harvested in the very first days of September, and today, which is around the 7th or the 8th of October, were the days where we're starting to harvest the Cabernet for the last three vintages. So it shows how excessive in terms of early ripeness of the grapes the 11th vintage was at Estournel. We are now finishing the post-maceration, which means the alcoholical fermentation has been finished into the vats. We are doing the last extraction of the tannins, the anthocyanins, the colors, the aromas, and we will clear the juice into the wooden barrels in the days to come, next week, to start the malolactic fermentation, where the wines will take its roundness, its freshness, and it will now be aged in wooden barrels in the cellars of Cos for 18 months until it is bottled. So. It is as if the baby has been born recently, just getting ready for its proper education. Well, Lafite Rothschild, our neighbor, has a unique Havana cigar nose, cigar box nose. Cos is known for having a very unique oriental spicy pepper taste and aromas, which really comes from the white profound gravels we have with the great Cabernet Sauvignon. So if you can spot this spiciness, it's very likely to be Estournel. But I will give you a trick. The best way to perform when it comes to blind tasting, when you are invited to someone's home, is to check the bottle discreetly at the kitchen before. This is how you perform well. Well, as you know, the terroir, which is a French word which cannot be translated into English, very few words are in that position, is the combination of the soil, the climate, and the human touch. And obviously as well the varietals, the clones, and the type of vines you have. So these four elements. What we do at Estournel is we have a new cellar where we use the flow of gravity. The idea is to carry the grapes from the harvest up to bottling with no mechanical intervention in order to protect the integrity of the fruit and to have the most honest, true expression of the style of its vintage. And in 2011, not only we can still feel it today, we have this spicy, intense, powerful curry character of the wines of Estournel, but also we have a precision, a freshness, and a modernity which makes that our wines can be enjoyed when they are very young, 4 or 5 years after bottling, without losing the great aging potential that is the definition of the great wines of the Northern Médoc. Well, we use natural yeast that we have in the cellar. We don't do anything. As I said, the whole thing is the whole philosophy is to be respectful of Mother Nature. So we don't follow the biodynamic rules, but we do some biofarming, and we use natural yeast which are there. So it's very simple. And the flow of gravity, using the flow of gravity, we're having no pumps when it comes to do the pumping over, the délestage, and eventually the soutirage, and of course at the end the bottling, help us to protect that freshness and that elegance. The wines of Estournel obviously are quite powerful, and they could be described as fairly masculine wines. They go well with some intense food. I mean, no worries to have it with grilled lamb and grilled meat and obviously cheese. The wines need to be decanted well before. To give them 2 or 3 hours into a decanter makes sense. And in large glasses. The wines, of course, are quite rich, powerful. They age a very long time, but the most recent vintages can also be enjoyed at a very early stage. And this is the sense of modernity of Bordeaux, which is the combination of global warming, which help us to harvest grapes in much better weather conditions than it was the case 15, 20 years ago, with true ripeness of the grapes, and also the new modern cellar, which we have been used at cost since 2008, which help us to have a wine with more precisions, more definitions, and a shining fruit.